All right, Katie, good. I'm glad you made it on. Let's see if True Royal can make it on. I don't know why she's having a problem. Hopefully, she'll make it on this time. Okay. Huh. All right, let's try to send it to Maurice again. See if anybody. Oh, you made it on this time. Good.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on. You know, you weren't the only one. It was almost like everybody I sent that link to said it was not working. So I don't know. These.
I know. I'm gonna get my headphones.
Okay. How you doing, Katie?
Oh, doing fine, Lisa. And first and foremost, how's your health?
Oh, I'm doing a lot better. I'm doing a lot better. You know, the weather here in New Jersey kind of sucked all day. We had this really treacherous storm last night. So all day long, the humidity level was just unbearable. And the humidity was higher than the temperature. So it felt miserable.
Yeah, it seemed like I had a case of hot rain.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you crystal clear.
Okay.
All right. Let me get.
I'm gonna put myself on mute.
All right. I see people are returning. Here's the link to the panel. It seems to be working this time for anybody that wants to get on the panel. Hopefully people, yeah, it looks like people are coming back, so that's good. All right. Hi, Lions Den. How you doing, brother?
Hello, sister. How you doing, Queen?
All right. Hey, Tareen.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, everybody. I'm so glad you're all here. You know, I got such a reply from that hate speech video I did this morning. I was amazed at how many people were reaching out to me. Letting me know, you know, trolls are bothering them and all kinds of issues.
Well, you already know the issue I had with the Twitter stalker.
Mm-hmm.
But I had some like help when someone actually was able to retrieve their IP address, and we got their page shut down.
Good.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's good.
I like that.
I've never dealt with anything like that before, ever since I've been on YouTube. Like that was like real creepy.
When I put my hate speech video out, guess who my first response was from?
The same person you were talking about?
A troll, yes. A troll. And they were like, oh, that's pretty damn clever. You took it to court. And he said, well, and then they said, well, would you mind sharing anything with me? And I just now why would I talk to a damn troll? Give me a
Yeah, they don't think we have sense enough to go to court.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you let them know that we got that kind of sense. We will go to court on your ass.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, we got to stop being afraid. I'm kind of sipping on stuff right now. We got to stop being afraid and take a stand.
And you have to follow through.
Yeah, right. And once you read the hate policy and you did not incite any kind of violence or made any suggestions of violence in your video, there is no reason for you not to fight them taking your channel away. And that's what we got to get in this mode. We know they're going to troll us. We know they're going to flag us, but it's up to us to just stop accepting it and fighting back.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
What we have to do. You know, we're accepting these suspensions and they're going unchallenged, and we really should be challenging every single one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and we got to do that. We know what the trolls are going to do. Trolls are going to be trolls. They're never going to leave us alone. We already know this.
I had a troll by the I wanted to give y'all the name. I'm glad we're talking about this. Follow me over to Black Junction so he or she could thumbs me down. They go by the name triple nickel 555.
Uh-huh.
And they follow me over there. So I finally got one to follow me to Black Junction.
Yeah, I had one too.
I know, I remember you was the first.
Yeah.
That's,
You would think if we're the low IQ individuals, you think that you would think they would leave us alone. I'm hearing some feedback. Okay. Lionsden, were you saying something?
No, Queen. I probably was me and Tyler lowered it down. That's
Okay.
My apologies.
Okay. No need for that. Now, Queen Royal, what is going on in California? All the rages and 911 calls. There's an awful lot coming out of California.
I know California ain't as liberal as y'all think.
I mean, the latest, this brother that has a gourmet lemonade stand, and he's trying to get himself set up to work out there on the streets in San Francisco.
Yeah, I got that video. And in fact, I watched the video on it too.
Yeah, and he gets the cops called on him.
Sam, you know, with the Bay Area, and it's such a turnoff to us up here. People think that they're so liberal up here. And believe it or not, California is really a Republican state. Mm-hmm. And y'all got to think about who's up here. It's a lot of wealthy people. You got Hollywood up here and stuff, and they're really not what you think they is. It's a smoke screen. Like in Berkeley, California, that would be considered the unquote most liberal place. Berkeley, California, have more drugs than any area in California.
I believe it.
Mm-hmm. And so racism is alive and well right up here in California. They might smile in your face. They might look like a long hair hippie or a goth. It's a goth up here. Hateism is everywhere in America. So yeah, California is not liberal. It's all
they claim to be.
Mm-hmm, yeah, they claim to be, and it pisses us off because me and my husband both have had to sue many companies that we have worked for. Took joy in it too. How much isms it is up here. Like in the world of construction, what they do is the white guys, they won't live here in the Bay Area. And I don't know why they travel as far as they do. And it doesn't make sense to me. It's not unusual for whole white trash to travel 2 or 3 hours to come to work up here in the Bay Area because they say they make more money. They don't want to make valley scale. And then I'm thinking, well, you're burning gas back and forth to make $2 or $3 more an hour.
Yeah.
Your IQ ain't kicking in.
Yeah. And the thing is, this guy said when the cops arrived, they damn near were pulling guns out on him and everything.
Yeah. I'm gonna go get some lemonade. I know I love lemonade. I'm always putting lemon in something. I'm gonna go get me some lemonade after that. But I wasn't surprised. They do that in the city all the time. When I lived in the Haight-Ashbury, and Haight-Ashbury has an extensive history, they was always calling the police on me because I would cuss everybody out in the neighborhood. That was another time when I was in my 20s. I got tired of them. I got tired of the phoniness. I got tired of how people thought that these people were so liberated. And I remember I had I cussed out a white guy. He was barefooted. He was homeless. And he said he was going to call the police on me because I parked my car in my driveway and he couldn't walk across the sidewalk.
When he was homeless and he called the police?
No, I chased him up the street with a hammer. So, I don't want to tell him myself, but yeah, I chased him up the street.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like so much is going there. We know Barbecue Becky, Permit Patty.
We kicked it off. We kicked it off.
Yeah.
We kicked it off in Oakland.
Yeah. And you know what the worst thing is? I was reading a story the other day. Those gentrifiers are also bringing all them drugs, them opioids and stuff into the hood. They're bringing their drug habits and everything with them. So they're not just gentrifying the neighborhood. They're gentrifying.
No, you know what? The Haight-Ashbury is still drug infested. It's a very expensive community to live in, but it's drug infested.
Yeah. These people.
Somebody put in here, they received an email stating that the Black Junction TV has changed ownership. I know I watched his email. I didn't get to watch it all on Black Junction. He is very pissed off. He is very pissed off with the Jedi and some other people. And I didn't get to complete watching his.
He reached out to me and I didn't get to talk to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still it's instead of it being co-owned, it's owned by one person. But like Trevor, like you said, you can read between the lines of that email until he was mad.
Yes, he was.
Because now it's like now everything is solely on his shoulders now.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be honest about that situation. The reason I think that's going on because enough people ain't donating. I'm just gonna keep it funky, just like that.
Well, so and the other thing is he's been getting this backlash, these crazy emails talking about, well, if I see another white person on there, I'm not gonna be on there, and that's unrealistic.
Yeah, that is. They're gonna follow us. We know that. I would never put nothing out there that says something like that because
well, even videos. That's what he's saying. Even if they see a person that put up a video with a white face or stuff.
Sometimes we have videos out there because we're talking about their asses. So we're going to have videos with white faces on it.
Yeah,
and knowing how we get trolled on YouTube when we tell people that we uploaded a video over on Black Junction so it can have eyes go over there, their eyes are going to follow.
Oh, yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, the ones who give us dislikes on those videos, because notice on Black Junction, you don't get a lot of dislikes on videos compared to if you get a lot of dislikes on YouTube. So I'm only assuming that the 1 or 2 dislikes you might get on the video over there has to be from a troll that probably came over from YouTube.
Yes.
I agree with that. Yes, absolutely. And the thing is, yeah, I saw that. Oh, if I see another, how do you control that? I think that's kind of unrealistic.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. So before you had got started, I didn't complete watching the brother's video because Black Junction has a channel too here on YouTube. And he was pissed. He was really pissed.
To tell you the truth, Terrain, when people put the words Black Junction in, you're actually giving the enemy a signal.
But we want to identify ourselves too, KD. It just, it comes with the territory. And the thing that's sad to me, because I've had businesses before, is the demands that our own people make on us that they would never even contemplate or even say to white folks. They don't question anything. And I'm not saying that you're
Right.
supposed to question anything with a black-owned business.
Right. And they would never go to somebody in YouTube and say, hey, if I see one more video about this, I'm not going to, I'm going to just completely get my channel off of here. They would never say that, and, Black Junction TV is still fairly new. They're going to go through growing pains. And he's just going to have to be patient. I can't wait until he gets live streaming over there. Once he get live streaming, I'm pretty much going to be doing a lot of it over there.
Me too. Yeah, me too. Because we don't want to bring the customers.
Right.
So they're going to follow, they're going to follow suit and stuff. And I'm just saying we should grant the same courtesy.
We got to give it a chance. And I saw that. Oh, you don't get this. We don't need to see this over here. Well, no.
It's unrealistic.
That's kind of petty, to be honest with you. And that's not what we need right now.
No.
We need to help. We need to help this brother grow. Black Junction TV. That's what we really need.
I like Black Junction too. I like the way it's set up.
I do too. It's because I know it's certain videos that I can put on over there that I know would get taken down instantly on YouTube. Like those videos of like the recent one I did about the guy who knocked that white guy out on the train platform. That would have got taken down on YouTube instantly.
Yeah.
Or I would have had the age restricted, which means I wouldn't have gotten as many views.
Well, I put some pretty strong titles over there just to see if somebody gonna bitch about it. Ain't nobody saying
I be put like in the title section. I'll be putting the whole word. I don't even like censor it. I'll put the whole curse word in there without bleeping it out.
Yeah, we shouldn't have to censor ourselves on a black platform. As
soon as I get paid tomorrow, I think I'm gonna be a donor. And I'm about to start loading my real stuff over there, just like Royal Queen is doing.
Yeah. I stay over there just as much as I am on YouTube. I spend a lot of time over there because I like the videos that people put up that I normally can't see. And I'm also donating every month too because I really want this thing to work. I really want it to work.
I also basically when I do my videos as well, I always told myself, because I'm always doing reactions, so I always posted YouTube videos, reaction, and Black Junction TV, and it's one good thing, so everybody will see my videos, not just YouTube, not just reaction, but also on Black Junction TV as well. So I'm very happy about Black Junction TV, and I'm gonna continue to put videos on there.
Yeah, so am I. I've been putting my more heavy hitter kind of things out there, because the sensitivity level on YouTube, it's like off the charts.
Yeah.
These trolls cry over shit that we never cry over, because I guess we already have the expectation they're going to be a bunch of racist dirtbags. So, we just don't value. But when we post stuff and they start crying racist, I'm like, are you kidding me? First of all, most of us are not even putting out racist videos. In fact, none of us are. We don't have no racist propaganda going on. Now, we may bring it up because of the nature of the article that we're talking about. And, especially like drug addiction, because the biggest community doing that in this country are the white community. So how do you avoid saying that?
That was like when you put up the video, the one about the hate speech, and I was reading that, and you was talking about some racist chick, and I'm like,
yeah, I have the screenshot of it. But see, like I was saying, that's what we have to do. We're spotting, because I've heard it's from other Black YouTubers. that have spot this kind of stuff out there. We can't just look at it and not do anything. When you see somebody coming out against you like that, you got to screenshot it, because their next step is to try to get you off. And now you can put a face behind the one that's leading the pack on it. So that's really strong when you go to court. They don't know. They're giving us ammunition, and they don't even realize it.
No, because
I think the only video. Go ahead, Queen.
No, you speak.
I was about to say that one of the last videos that I've done was it was a press conference. I don't know if y'all heard, or y'all may or may not heard about what happened in Clearwater, Florida, when a black man who's defending his woman basically pushed this guy down at a all because of a parking space, all because of a handicapped parking space, and so the guy who shot and killed that brother, and then they let him go for standing your ground. And I did an entire press conference of the police chief that was claiming that he does have a right to stand his ground.
No,
we all know that.
Yeah,
you should have seen all the comments on my channel because of this. People said, well, if he didn't push him, he wouldn't be in this mess and all of that kind of stuff.
It's not. That should not lead to somebody dying because you got pushed.
Yeah.
You know, that is just normal hand-to-hand combat when you're fighting.
This actually all goes back to the video that I did that I didn't post on YouTube, but I posted it up on Black Junction, where that black guy was dealing with a white guy harassing him and trying to steal his motorcycle. And the time that he tried to really get it, him and his brother-in-law went and followed the guy and found him and everything like that. They got into it. The black guy pulled out his gun and killed the white guy. Then they charged the black guy with murder because he was defending his property.
And another incident too, in what I did a story too in Buffalo, New York, when it was at a restaurant. It was like an eatery, but it's called Tim Horton. Now Tim Horton is a Canadian news eatery, but they had a section in Buffalo, New York. But anyway, a brother just picked up some food, and this big old white guy with a bald head basically just picked on him for no apparent reason, and then he pushed the guy. And he warned the guy, he said, "You push me one more time, I'm gonna beat the living out of him." And he's still picking on, he's still pushing him. And then he just said, you know what? He just punched him, beat the daylights out of that big old white guy. And it ended up, he's the one got arrested for assault. And he didn't do nothing for the white guy at all.
Well, now it's up to the people down in Florida to take a stand, because stand your ground is nothing but a law in place to get away with killing us. That's really all it is. After seeing Trayvon, and it really should not have been used in the case of George Zimmerman. If somebody tells your ass to stand down and you continue to bother that person, that's no longer stand your ground. You're now, you are a perpetrator now committing a crime. You are following this individual that is doing nothing but passing through and going home. You know, it should never have been used in that case. And you can see the racial bias in that law, in the way Florida applies the law. No one down in Florida, no black person down in Florida should be silent about that.
No. And then Queen, you have to remember too that the stand your ground, Florida has always had problems with the stand your ground law because it don't apply to all the Floridians. For example, with the Trayvon Martin case, George Zimmerman walking because of the stand your ground law. But look what happened to Marissa Alexander, the black sister that who was threatened by her estranged husband, and he really didn't shoot him. He was just shot in the head, shot in the ceiling, and she get 20 years in prison for that.
Right.
Yeah.
We can't use it, but white people can use it. You know, that right there tells you, you know, the law is just a racist law.
Yeah, they pencil it in and they pencil it They pencil it out. They've been doing it. They, they're very selective about what they're gonna do.
Right.
They're already very selective.
And that police chief or whatever that guy was, sheriff, he sounded more like a damn lawyer for him than someone that all he should have been doing is standing at that podium and stating the case, but he was really arguing for the side of the shooter.
Exactly.
Lions Den, I'm just gonna be flat out honest. This was nothing more than paving the way for that Blue Lives Matters bill that got passed. It's just an open passage for slave catching again. That's all it is.
I wanted to mention the video that I put up on Black Junction where this pig cavity searched this black man in front of everybody like it wasn't nothing. Thank goodness he is following through on it. It was a very disgusting video.
That is from chattel slavery. They did all of that stuff during chattel slavery, and you can see they're still trying to do that now. Just like the strip search, they'll strip search a black person out in public. That all comes from chattel slavery. They used to do that back then on the plantation. They would take one slave, strip them down in front of everybody, and make that slave stand there for hours while everybody is working and they're just standing there naked. That's all that mess comes from. They think we don't know. They think we don't know. And they're still trying to sneakily do this stuff to us.
Yeah, well, I was reading because I go the extra mile. I was reading the statement that the cop made, talking about, well, we're gonna do the hokey pokey. So he couldn't wait to do that, and you're absolutely right. And I'm like, wow. And what really even
that sounds like some gay mess right there.
Yeah, it is some gay mess. What really pissed me off was the black cops standing there like it wasn't nothing. You're just
that's right. Black cops have been of no use to the black community. They really haven't.
They are worse than some others. Like I was watching a video that my cousin had put up on his Instagram page a couple of days ago, and it was this black cop out there trying to be Billy Badass, because most of them walk around like they got balls made of brass, and he actually was getting into some guy, and it was I guess it was another woman there, and she was like trying to intervene. He ended up shoving that woman to the ground, and when the guy got up in his face and stuff like that, that guy instantly pulled out his taser. And then started to go after the guy. They almost really got into the fight. And I was like, I said I want to see him fight, because I honestly think that the guy could have took him.
Well, they only got it. I said it in that video that I did. I said to white men, lay your swords down. Start even with our kings. They got to have all that propped up, tasers, billy clubs, guns, mace, and all of that mess, just to be even with a black man. They weak.
What, honey? They are the original. If you want to call somebody a beta male, that's what all of them are.
Yes.
Definitely. And the thing is, they got these laws so rigged up, they're trying to make it impossible for us to defend ourselves. And they have, really, through the black codes and everything. But you can clearly see they're still trying to carry that shit out today. It's only going to backfire. I can just see this whole place going up, just erupting, and nobody's going to care anymore.
Yes, I see that coming.
Way too long. They've done it for way too long, and something's got to give. And eventually, people are going to just go off on them, and it's not going to just be the black community. It's going to be everybody bearing down on them.
Yeah, because they know, cops know how to escalate. I've watched them do it. We all watched them do it. They'll take the most simple matter and just blow it out of proportion.
Yeah, they're very sneaky about that too, Queen. You ever notice they always escalate the situation when they can't find nothing on the black person, just like Sandra Bland. He couldn't find nothing on her, so he made a big deal out of the cigarette. That's what they do. They usually will take it to the next level when they run that background check and find nothing. that's when they'll take it to the next level. I noticed that pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And it did, and it also did that because I know Information Man and myself did a show together about what happened in Arizona. Remember that black cop beat up that guy for no apparent
Oh
reason?
yeah, I had sent y'all that video. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Hated that.
so
Yeah.
that's a perfect example of showing that I can be just like you type of guy. It just don't make it's just ridiculous.
Well, that's because everybody already know we are probably the most unprotected class of people, and even a black cop know he can get away with doing things to us, and nothing's going to happen to him. I mean,
I know for a fact that all these slave catchers, I know they're getting paid under the table by the prison industrial complex in some sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, they get paid for their arrests. So for them to just, like I said, that's why they have no concern about snatching up innocent people, because he's going to get paid for everybody that he plucks off the street and throw in those prisons to do that slave work.
And it goes right back to that New York City cop where he basically admitted where they're targeting brothers so that their pay can increase.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was reading here what one of your subs was saying. They were you're begging your son not to become a cop once he got his criminal justice degree. Well, my son last year, not the last year, the second to the last year of college, the sheriff department up in Southern California is recruiting heavily, and they're mainly going recruiting Black people right out of these kids out of these colleges. And my son, he took the test, he passed the test and all of that. And then he called me one night. He said, "Mom, I can't do it." And I said, "I understand." He said, "I just can't do it."
Yeah.
And I said, he said, "I can't," because he said, because he knows he has friends who already graduated, already in the force. And he said, they're not his friends anymore. They're not the same people anymore. And one of the girls he dated up there when he first started college, she's a police officer now, and her parents is. And he sent me this picture of her and this nasty looking white guy. I mean, he looked horrible. You could have told me he was a cop. I thought he was homeless. Serious. I'm serious. I'm not making this up. And he asked her a question. He asked her, "How do you feel about the race relations that you're seeing, the stuff that the cops are doing to your own people?" And she told my son, "I don't care."
Well, then you know what? I don't care about what happens to her out there.
Yep, that's what. Yep.
That's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And rubber to her ass.
See, she can best believe. See, she ain't encountered a white supremacist. She's going to go on a call one day, and it's going to be a very deeply ingrained white supremacist right there waiting on her.
And they don't mind coming after. But she's dating white men now, and the people that I never understood it, because I've seen it so many times. It's happened in my family. Y'all know that my daughter is with one, and the thing is these white men are only using you for sex only. You're fulfilling a fetish.
Right.
This is why the Royal Queen keeps talking about energy. It is very important. That encounter with your son that he had with that police officer, she pretty much told him she wants to share her energy with the enemy. So that pretty much told him who she really is.
Yeah.
White supremacy comes with paychecks. That's why they're over there.
That's sad.
Wow. Now, hey, that's on her. That's one thing I know about Black cops. They're not going to have a job like that and not get called the N-word. They get called that all the time.
Oh, yes, they do. Lisa, you're right. The valedictorian of my high school, me and him are very close, named Brian Washington. And he's a police officer up in San Mateo, California, right next door to San Francisco. And he said he done got in fights with white cops, and what they like to call them, I don't know if they do it throughout the United States, but up here they call them monkeys with guns. and the black guys call them gray boys with guns, and they have gotten a fight. So he said there's a lot of tension, and he said lately the tension for the last 3 or 4 years has been even thicker amongst the black cops and the white cops, because a lot of the black cops, he said, are really getting sick and tired of seeing what's going down. He said, I don't know how much longer the black cops are going to hold out. You know, they really getting tired of it.
Well, first of all, even out here where I am in New Jersey, the black cops will tell you sometimes they call for backup, and them white cops won't even come out and back them up.
Of course not.
Go ahead, Tareen.
And it also, like, I had did a video on Black Junction where that it was somewhere out in the Midwest, close to the West Coast, as a matter of fact, where it was a black guy that was arrested. And in the surveillance footage, when he was, when he was being held, it looked like he was being initiated into a gang, and the black cop was the one that ended up knocking him out. Like, he knocked him out like they was in a boxing ring, and all the other white cops around him were just like kicking him and hitting him while the guy's already knocked out.
Not to tell on myself, but short story. I actually got pulled over by a coon cop because of the hoodie I had on. When I was coming back from the store, getting something for my mama, getting some stuff for my mama and stuff, the damn car followed me all the way there and had me hands up on the damn porch. It was a coon cop that pulled me over.
Wow.
Don't remind you of that scene in Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
So the cops up here in the D, they're just as coonish as anybody else.
You know what? I seen a video a couple of weeks ago. This black cop, middle-aged cop, was harassing this black family, and I was reading that he had been going over there repeatedly arresting different members out of the house, and they had to start filming it because he was just, it was just fun to him to just go over there and harass them.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody has seen that.
So we know there is no allies in law enforcement, especially through black cops.
And then I don't know if y'all saw the video that I did on here where I was talking about 2 books in particular, and how it was in South Carolina, and how the police down there wanted those books to be banned because they said it promoted a distrust in police. I said, now you're concerned?
Oh, I remember that. I thought that was hilarious. Look,
So the thing is, like I said, I was able to see right through it. I said, they're not worried about our distrust in the police. They already know that. We pretty much made that aware for years now. What they don't want is for white people to feel the same way we do about the police.
Yeah, but they already do. They already do. I mean, they do worse things to cops than we ever did. You can pull up those videos with them cussing the cop out, spitting on the cop, punching a cop.
Oh, yeah.
They already treat them like dirt. But see, they know they're in a position to get away with it, and they know that white cop is not going to do nothing to them.
Of course not.
So
that's why they act out like that. There's no consequences.
I seen a family once beat up some cops. A whole white family. I seen it. I don't know if somebody's seen it. I said, I can't. Well, I should believe. I was like, wow, nobody ended up dead anything. They wouldn't cop ass.
There are stories that come out of and this don't really go out nationwide, but I used to see these stories periodically. The Jewish community up in New York, when they get mad at the cops, they'll go to the police station and beat the cops up. They do. And I mean, those stories don't go out, but they are there. But it's happened several times, and those police officers do absolutely nothing to them.
My husband has a friend that the Oakland police is scared of. He done whip cops up out of their clothes. He whipped one up out of his clothes, and then he just sat there on the curb for them to pick him up. and they're afraid because he's a martial arts expert. They always just throw the handcuffs to him and ask him to handcuff himself. They will not touch him. They will not touch him. Once he's handcuffed, he'll touch him.
Crazy.
Mm-mm-mm.
But yeah, you know, I just, black cops, just the sight of them turns my stomach. I don't know how do you go to a job and watch your people, you know damn well those cops are not being fair to your people or treating them, you know, they treat us a certain way.
Yeah, and that's what they go do every day, and you're sitting there
You're watching.
with it, and you're hearing the language and everything. A lot of black cops, the cop that ex-cop sheriff that contacted me 2 years ago, that used to work under David Clark, told me it was because of him and how he conducted himself, he didn't want to be a cop anymore. And I was like shocked because I didn't know if it was true. And then it was some things that he told me, and then I went and looked it up, and I said, "Oh, he wasn't lying." He told me that Clark took a gun and put it in a black 15-year-old boy's face years ago, threatened to blow his brains out. Everything that man told me, I went and looked it up. It was true.
Well, you see what's happening to his ass now, right?
Man, he getting it. It's so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other story that came out, let me go ahead and share my screen, is the declining white population. So another story came on the horizon this week about that.
My thing is mainstream media is late on catching this story. We've been talking about this for months.
Yes, we have.
Oh, yes, we did.
Mm-hmm.
And
just like they were late jumping on the opioid plague. I remember when that first jumped off back in January 2016. What a way to bring in the new year at the time. And they didn't hop onto that until late last year. And the thing is, they talk about it in bits and pieces. I said, they don't want me up there to talk about it because I'll be gone the minute I open up my mouth.
And, you know, we know they're having fears because we're seeing the fears all out in public with those 911 calls. They are going over the top. And this is what I keep telling everybody. They are not acting like this because they're going to be the minority in 2045. They're acting like this because they are the minority now. And I will keep saying that.
Oh, definitely, especially on a global scale. They only like 10% of the global population. And you know what? You'll never hear them talk about that.
But Tori Rain, I look all around me. I even live in the suburbs for 2 years. I'm just gonna say this flat the fuck out. These folks are weak as hell. These cave beast millennials, they're soft as marshmallows. Why would I want to sit there and be scared of them? And want to sit there and say I can't outcompete them? Sure hell I can.
Yeah. And the thing is, what they're trying to do is go over the top with all their violence, just like their forefathers did. But see, we're in this era, in the day and age of technology. See, their forefathers did shit and it did not go live, or nobody put stuff out there for it to go viral. But now it's very different now. As soon as they do all these crazy antics out in public, that shit goes viral online and they lose their jobs. So they can't quite do it the way their forefathers do, but they're trying, though. They're trying to keep that over the top anger and violence going, and it's just not working out for them.
Just like that woman who, one of the people, she had called the police on some woman who was selling something. I think it was in California somewhere, and she was like a vendor, and she called the police on this woman who was who apparently didn't have a permit, and it was a black guy that was recording her and everything like that. Like she just felt like she was so happy and so appreciative to be, I guess, the next sensation, until that black guy said, well, let's keep the camera on her and hopefully we can find out where she works. That was a red flag for her. Her face went from a smile to a frown, and she hit one of them tight-lipped white people poses and walked off so fast she disappeared into the crowd and you ain't even see her again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that story. That's happened in San Francisco.
That's what I was telling True Royal when I sent her the one about the black guy with the lemonade stand. I said, what is going on out there?
Right, her mistress, and she did get fired. Yeah.
I had to stop making my smoothie. Oh, it was more to the story, because you know how it is when we're doing videos. We're doing our thing, and it's hard to catch up sometimes. She came back, Corinne. You got to watch the video. She came back. So I didn't even know she came back until her coon that was advocating for her came to my channel in the middle of the night. You caught me asleep this time, because usually I'm up. And she was in there arguing with my subs. I mean, she was going in. And she put a link. And the link that she put, that woman went back. Oh, she had her radio on, and that dress she had on, she really needed it with her gut hung out, really.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that too. I'm like, what the hell is up with that?
So I was so pissed. I had to go, thank goodness for Black Junction. I had to go to Black Junction, and I gave her ass that work. I couldn't believe it. I said, wait a minute, she had my channel and called out. And she was that upset that what happened. And she was saying whatever she was saying, but she contradicted herself, because the woman was saying all this stuff in the news that it was all a big mistake and I wasn't doing this and that. And it was more footage, and they made that woman pack that stuff up and leave.
Wow.
Uh-huh. She lied. She lied. And then she had somebody to coon for her.
I know. And then she was out there trying to act like she was the victim. I said, she's playing on the victim stuff way too hard. I didn't believe her, because she came off like she was lying.
Yeah, she was. And then Lisa went to my channel. Like she said, is that a man?
Yeah. I mean, seriously, she looked for a woman.
Woo-wee! Oh my goodness. High def is starting to not work out. I was talking to Lioness, and she had sent me this video, and it was Gail on there. And I said, damn, what's wrong with Gail's wig? It was all crooked. The makeup wasn't looking right. High def ain't working too good. You see too much.
Yeah. But you know what? That's how it is. All right, y'all. What do y'all think about Trump selling out the country for Russia? I'm loving what Trump
is. An embarrassment.
I'm loving it.
I mean, are we really surprised?
No. But man, his supporters were fuming this week, and I was loving it.
Me too. He's like Putty when he's around Putin, ain't he?
Well, that's because Putin has given Trump a lot of money, so he's not going to step on Trump's toe. You know, Trump ain't going to step on the hand that's feeding him. He's not going to do that. But, you know, he trusts Russia more than he trusts the FBI and many of these agencies. I was like, way to go, Trump, keep bringing it.
and then don't forget that what is his name? Michael Cohen was secretly recording them conversations.
Oh, yeah. To pay off that prostitute.
Yes. I said, this is not a good week for Cheesehead.
No, it sure wasn't. Sure wasn't. And then
but then again, it's any week good for him. That's the thing. So it's like,
what? Messing up, man.
Yeah, but you know, I'm loving it. I love his foot in the mouth moments, because, you know, like someone said, Trump hates all of the agencies that Black people hate. So the FBI, we hate the FBI. Look at all the stuff they did to us and the Black Panthers, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have no love for the FBI, and then we're living in this climate where we're under constant attack, but they come up with some damn BIE bullshit. Man,
I know. Mm-mm.
So I'm loving it. I say, Trump, keep your mouth open, keep talking. I'm loving it.
He's a gift to keep giving, isn't it? He gonna always mess up.
I just love KB supremacy imploding over each other. I love it. Imploding on themselves, I'm enjoying every second of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And see, like I said, all of this public, I'm gonna call the cops and stuff. I said, you know what? This is why I will always say, look at their actions, forget their words. I'm not buying that they are in the minority in 2045. I'm telling you, they are in the minority right now.
Yeah, and that's what what you're saying is absolutely right. One night I was doing a hangout, and we had realized out of nowhere, we was just like, wait a minute, they got zero population in some of these states, but they ain't gave no birth. Because I don't know what it was I was presenting. It's been a while, and I got to thinking, and then Nicole Ali has a different way of researching stuff because she's a scientist. So I said I'm gonna follow her route, and then I had found some more stuff, and I said since Lisa been presenting this to us, she knows it all. I'm not willing to go that deep. I gave it to you. And we didn't come to this conclusion that you're saying, but it's the same at the end of the day. I said, I think some of these states ain't having no babies at all. And then we started guessing, and they they keep putting these projective dates. 20. Yesterday I seen 2050. Yeah. And I'm like, and I went by what my father said. He said when they talking about it, it's been around for a while.
Yeah.
A while.
You want to know what's so funny? When we're talking about the decline, and I love saying that word as it pertains to them, decline is such a magical word. But whenever you have like white-owned publications talk about this, the same thing we talked about, we be like, see, we told you, but you didn't listen to us. This is why I say Twitter is hilarious, because you can always find some funny stuff on Twitter. So when I saw that as a trending topic one day, and I'm surprised it actually trended, and it trended pretty high. And it was called something anxiety. I forgot what it was called. And when I was looking through the comments and stuff like that, you have these white people who are supposedly conservatives say, "Oh, them putting out there is such a liberal publication." I said, liberal or not, it's still going to affect you, whether you lean to the left or to the right. They are the only people that associate a political leaning as if it is a whole separate entity of people. I'm like, it's two sides of the same coin.
Well, that's the same way, Tareen. That's the same way when we talk about certain things, and they'll say, "Oh, well, that's the Jews," as if the Jews are not white.
They're all lumped in together.
Yeah, like they're the only group of people that try to separate as much as possible within just one.
And then think about this. Remember that they added other groups to inflate their numbers. So let's separate those other groups that they had added, and really look at the bigger picture of it. They always been small, and like you were saying, Lisa, that the only time they really had a big boom was during the after the war. What was that? 40?
Yeah, about 43, 44. That was after World War II.
Yeah.
And that was the only time they had. That was their last biggest explosion in population. They have not had babies at that level ever since. They haven't. That was the last time they had a lot of babies in this country. And it has not happened since. And all the following generations are much smaller. Well, see, there's a reason why they always want to tell you what the Latino number is, what the Black number is, but you notice they never come out with the census and tell you the size of the white European. And that right there is very telling.
Mm-hmm.
When they give you their numbers, like you said, they got all of these other groups lumped in with them, the Arabs, the East Indians, the Latinos, they got everybody lumped in with them. But they never tell you the actual number of the white European, and that's because they're not that big. They're small.
Yeah.
In comparison to everybody else, they're very small. So,
Mm-hmm.
so these people think they can have a skeletal crew and still die.
Yeah, everything is a charade. It's a charade. And then,
I had a few of them, True Royal, a couple of trolls, like a week ago, say to me, so what? Even if we are declining, we're going to be in charge. Look at South Africa. And I said, that's really not a good comparison with South Africa, because the circumstances of the Black people here are slightly different. That's why I was trying to bring out in that video. I said, look, first of all, you got more college educated people among the Black community in America. Number two, the Black Americans are the richest Black people on earth. We are the richest ones and have the most wealth. Those folks in South Africa don't have that. Number two, I know they do fight white supremacy in South Africa, but nobody has fought it as long as we have in this country. So there are stark differences in those Black people in Africa and the Black people here. So my point is, just because you see that happening in South Africa, do not believe for one moment you're going to have those same results in the United States.
Well, see, they want to continue to have this lifestyle where I think it was on Infoman's channel, somebody's channel, where they were showing a region in South Africa where it was just all white, and they had all the little stores that they want, and they want to conduct themselves the way that they want. They want to keep maintaining that. It's not going to last. You can see it when you start really, really looking at Lisa's videos. You can see it. Look and see. You got to look at things that people are overlooked that's really screaming at you. You shut down. They saying they ain't making enough diapers. They saying they ain't making enough baby food. They cater everything to them.
Right.
When I had my babies, I made my baby food. I ain't buying that shit. My kids won't gonna eat it anyway. It's nasty. We make our stuff for the most part. For the most part, I'm not saying all, but for the most part, we want to do as much natural stuff as possible. We breastfeed our babies and all that stuff. They run to go get this. They run and go get that. And when the Toys R Us closed down, they didn't do that. They wasn't looking at us. They was looking at them. They said, y'all not coming here, because they picked that up for them. And you didn't hear us go up in arms. Oh, they close it down. Toys R Us, give a damn, close it down.
Well, they're talking about the life expectancy dropped for the third year in a row. That is not dropping because 63,000 opioid addicts died. The number would have to be in the millions to impact the life expectancy. And that's very telling right there.
They can't even get their teens to have babies.
Yeah.
Now check this out. The Black teens are not having babies as much as they used to have.
Yeah, but they're trying to accuse us of having babies out of wedlock. There's very little of that happening in the Black.
But this just to let me know that they're losing their ground, and this whole economic system they built, they can't even keep that up. So they can't really claim anything on us.
They are committing suicide. That's why I said in one of my other videos, I said, how the hell do you fail in your own rigged up system? How the hell do you rig up a damn system for centuries and your ass is failing in it?
And the crazy thing, Lisa, they're writing all these suspicious laws just to protect themselves from us.
It's not working. It's not working. It's not working. When you got to start doing a lot of drastic changing, KB, and making hasty decisions, because I keep talking about making hasty decisions, there is a problem. They're doing too much. You say, okay, let's try this. Okay, that ain't working. Let's try this. That ain't working. Your ass dying off. You hear me talking?
Well, all of this is they fear retribution. They know they have done everybody up in this bitch like dirt. And as they decline, they're trying to get all these laws and stuff on the books to keep themselves protected from the population. And I'm telling you, they have gone so over the top recently. A lot of people are going to say, fuck your law. You come at me, I'm coming at you. And that's what it's going to come down to. And people are damn near there right now. All right. You know, everybody is getting tired. I think eventually this place is going to reach its breaking point.
Can't come fast enough.
They don't have no friends.
Well, who's going to have their back? They did everybody like dirt. You know, and they don't realize that. That's why I made that point. I said, if somebody came in here and attacked the U.S. right now, who was going to get out in these streets and fight with them?
No one. They have no friends. They have to buy their friends. Anytime they want somebody to help them fight, the first thing they do is ask for them to pay off something.
Yeah. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And you see, you know, me, okay, I don't like the fact that they called the 911. I hear some background.
Me too.
Somebody. The fact that they make all these 911 calls, that's one thing. But when they approach our kids, that's when I mean, I can't stand that. That's disrespectful. They know what the hell they're doing. You know, those kids got parents. Why don't you approach the parents? I think that's real cowardly for their grown asses to approach our children like that. And then bitch and moan about permits and anything else.
Yeah, they call themselves upstanding citizens. That's the word I've been using lately. They break the law all the time. I have watched white people break the law. I don't say nothing, I just look at them.
Look, they commit felonies and walk out the courtroom and go home. You know,
look at the last case, Lisa. I know you've seen it. This woman hangs a baby.
Yeah.
That woman's sitting at home. And then when I went and did the research on it, even though I didn't put the story up, I said, this story is not going to work out good. It's not going to be a good turnout. And they wanted to say her husband beat the hell out of her. It's a lot of women getting their asses beat. They ain't hung no kids.
The nerve to sit up there and cry in that courtroom.
Yeah, that's part of the plan.
Just so fake.
Right. Well, see, they act like they're so moved from tears from a white woman. Me, I look at her crying and she looks stupid to me. I don't feel sorry for her. But you know, that's how it is. That's how it is in this fucked up society. You know. Let me see. There was another story. All right, let's get to the. There was another. I don't know if any of you heard this. There was a police officer that was killed in Dallas, and he was struck by a drunk driver and killed. And I think this was just a few hours ago.
Wow.
You know, and that's another thing. These cops are getting killed left and right. I think eventually you're going to see a big influx of them leaving that job. They're not going to stay on that job. And I'm surprised they're not. Well, I think they pretty much are okay with the 911 phone calls, because you've noticed they're not coming out and speaking out against it.
No, that's what I was pointing out. The last 3 videos that I did where there were 911 calls, on the back end of it, they would say, well, yeah, it was wrong, but still go ahead and make that call anyway. Then they even said, like up in Oregon, where this white man tried to throw this black girl in traffic.
Yeah,
And
I saw that.
yeah, and the bail was $250, but they said to folks, basically, uh, don't put yourself in harm's way. I'm reading in between the lines. And so I just took it, you said, if you see anything happen to black folks, listen, let it be, let whatever happens, happens, and then we'll take care of it after the fact. So they telling people not to step in and be good Samaritans. This man was trying to kill her. Do you know that that dude was 37 years old and he looked like he was in his 60s?
Well, you know they age like bananas.
Yeah.
Oh, ooh, he looked old and nasty. But he even said out loud, "If I had a switchblade, I would kill y'all niggers." And a Mexican guy and a white guy stepped in, but the cops, they weren't too happy with it. But to set the bail at $250, you only got to pay 10% of. Yeah,
Right.
$25.
That's it. For really attempted murder.
Yes, that's murder to me when you're trying to throw someone into traffic.
Somebody in traffic, that's attempted murder.
And I mean, he came after her. He pulled her backpack. She ran. He still came after her, and they had to grab him. He was very aggressive.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that was the day that I told my oldest, my son, and I told my husband. I said, just think, and y'all need to listen to this. You know, we out and about doing what we got to do, and you might have to cross the street. Make sure you check behind you to see who's behind you. When you see one of them, step to the side, and you make sure you're looking at them. They want to be in front anyway. All right. So your white ass could be in front. You ain't gonna push me in traffic.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they got their back to you, you know, you got somewhat of an advantage. Get in front all they want.
Yeah, go ahead. You walk.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and I'm loving the hog week and the parchment video.
You know, those things are coming out every day.
Oh no! But the one that got me, Lisa, was the one with the lady with the face, the messed up face. I wasn't really looking at that. What she had got burned? I was looking at her face. I said, "What happened to her face?"
Yeah.
Oh man.
But
yeah,
it's obvious they are not educated on what that plant is, and that's why so many of them are getting burnt.
But it's their attitude too. They don't have. I'm convinced, as long as I've been living, they don't have that mechanism in them where I know they're adrenaline junkies, but they don't have that fear factor. It's like, okay, limitations, and then their children, the way their children conduct themselves, they let them do whatever. I remember when my kids were little, I could look at them. They knew not to do that shit. They let the kids do whatever, and their kids get caught up in to let them do whatever.
Yeah, and then they try to make all kinds of, well, they're just a kid. Oh, I let my kids speak their mind. Well, you know what? Even if you let your kids speak their mind, okay, I don't know what that is. Go ahead. Okay. Even if you let your kid speak your mind, your kid should still have some level of respect, especially when they're talking to adults. Their kids don't seem to have that. You can tell something is lacking there.
Yeah. And that carries over where it gets to the point where you can't control it. It ain't cute. Some people think it's cute. It ain't cute at all.
No, that shit ain't cute. Cute to them. All right, the duck boat.
Oh wow! I did a hangout on my third backup channel about that, about the duck boat, which was very sad, and I was kind of ticked off that day too, because a lot of people have been bickering on YouTube, and I just kind of brought it back to the forefront that, you know, I know we have our little internet beasts, but this woman lost 9 family members. It was deep. And also, the message that I want to put out, if you get on a boat, you have to put on a life jacket. I don't care what the captain says, you put on the life jacket. And also, putting on a life jacket does not mean it will save your life. It'll just be easier for them to find you.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, unbelievable.
Yeah, it's very heart-wrenching.
It
To
is.
see that. It
Oh,
was.
I think, you know, because it was so many of one family that got killed.
Mhm.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be them going through all those funerals now, you know?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I was mentioning that my son-in-law, his family lost 27 family members in one day. That was during the Jim Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he wasn't even born, but you could tell his family is still affected by it. And most of them were children.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a lot. So I was just trying to bring it back to perspective because there was a number of people bitching and bickering, and it's like, is this internet beef that you have is so great? You got somebody out here that lost 9 family members.
Yeah.
You know, just to bring it back to perspective. And I was just, wow, that's just heavy. So altogether, 17 people came up dead. I haven't taken the time to look at those people, the other people, but it was horrific. And she was just listening to her account of it. She was saying these big swells were coming, and what she had to deal with
Yeah.
and stuff. But you got to wear that life jacket.
I know, right?
Mhm.
All right. Now I want the men to get involved. What do you think of the NFL halting the enforcement of the anthem protest and Trump coming out with his big ass mouth once again talking about the NFL players should be suspended for kneeling, but the NFL said they are going to halt the enforcement of the anthem because several players said, fuck your rule, I'm kneeling.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. I think the owners are scared of losing the players. That's why they're flip-flopping on this particular issue.
Mhm.
All of their earnings have went down since all this protest went down last year. All the ratings have been low. All the viewership has been down. They don't want to risk that going any further.
Mhm.
It's all about the green. And we already seen that some of the coon players have already sold out and took the money and stopped protesting. So
Right.
I think it's sort of a mixed bag.
Yeah, because now, just looking at some of the recent pictures, there are a number of them still kneeling. So, and then, like I said, Trump came out with his big ass mouth yesterday, bitching and moaning about the kneeling again, which Trump needs to concentrate on being the president and stop worrying about the damn NFL. I mean,
But
you are the president and you are worried about the NFL? Seriously?
every time 45 runs his mouth, he's actually costing the NFL money. So I want him to keep running his mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. He put another tweet out there, y'all. On the 20th, he said the NFL national anthem debate is alive and well. Can't believe it. Isn't it in contract that players must stand at attention, hand on heart? A $40 million commissioner must make a stand. First kneeling, out for game. Second kneeling, out for season, no pay. You're not even, Trump is not even in the NFL. He's not a commissioner. He's not an owner. How the hell are you going to tell somebody how to run the NFL?
I love it when he opens his mouth. And the funny thing is, Lisa, he's actually making the cave beast not come to games anymore. See, this is one way he's actually costing the commissioner money. I love it when he keeps running his mouth about the NFL. The NFL's already broken.
Yeah, I mean, he's all over Twitter, but you can still see the pictures of players kneeling. You know, there are several pictures of, you know, team members and a variety of people still kneeling, and they're like, fuck it, you want to find me, I'm going to still kneel.
That's because that anthem and that flag is like their golden fleece, and they can't help it that the majority, let's say majority of black people don't care. See, this is the thing that I've noticed about the colonizer. They hate when we don't act or jump when they say jump, especially after they've had us in bondage for so many years. And see, the thing is, and I actually heard this when I actually believe it. I think Black people in America have not truly completely assimilated the way other groups have, and they hate that we haven't, and that many of us won't. The Coons, okay, they did, but they are actually in the minority. Yes. And it's a reason why they and that's the reason why they keep pushing them forward as if they are the majority and that they speak for it, when they really don't.
Forward, Tareen, because they think that eventually, the Coon will have influence in the Black community, and in reality, the Coon has the least amount of influence within our community. They're not going to change us. Maurice, I haven't heard from you. Go ahead. I want to hear what you think about this whole thing.
Oh, the whole NFL?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I agree pretty much what everyone said, especially with KD and Tari and Rain said, the more Trump opens his mouth, pretty much like KD said, the more Trump's open his mouth, the less money the NFL is going to make. What they're doing is damage. What the NFL is trying to do is damage control. And the thing is, Donald Trump, it's like he's trying to speak up for the NFL commissioner. And the NFL commissioner, it doesn't seem like he's really saying, you know what I'm saying? Roger Goodell. Mm-hmm. But before Trump was president, Roger Goodell was enforcing a whole lot of stuff that was hurting the Black players. And anyway, this was before Donald Trump took office. So now Trump takes office. It seems like he's trying to run the NFL, and Roger Goodell is sitting back not saying anything. Out of all of this, Colin Kaepernick pretty much started this whole thing by being the first one to say, "I'm going to kneel. If y'all want to follow me, go ahead and do that." But I'm going to do that because our people for many years have been discriminated against, have been oppressed, so on and so forth, by the so-called, dominant society, by the so-called, white supremacists, so on and so forth, So, I mean, right now, it's like the X-Men movie. They're on their last stand.
Yeah.
They really don't. Yeah, they really don't have any leg left to stand on now. And that white privilege that they have been relying on for so many years, that's starting to crack a bit too. Bit by bit, it's starting to crack down. Yeah. And they're going crazy.
Yeah.
And you know what, King Maurice, you know what pisses me off? Now I'm seeing all these so-called Black conservatives give them the very rubber stamp that they don't even freaking need. It's like, what the hell is wrong with our people? We rubber stamping something that's been hampering us and oppressing us for years. Yeah. And I'm sick of these Black conservatives being very disingenuous towards the other things that has happened to us for years. They don't talk about the redlining. They don't talk about Memorandum 46 or the King Rex 84 plan. They don't never tell their audience that.
No, they don't. And especially the Congressional Black Caucasoids. That's my new nickname for them now.
Yeah.
Congressional Black Caucasoids. They're
Lions,
and it goes right.
I want Lionsden to jump in here because he's been very quiet. Lionsden, do you think they're doing this because the boycott was effective last year and they saw how much money was lost in the NFL? You think that's why maybe they're backing off of this national anthem thing?
Well, Queen, I think this is basically showing that as they say, the chickens come home to roost, as they may have. I believe that, like last year, remember they basically made a boo-boo. And I think that when our 45, the president 45, put his nose into something that belonged to him, everybody scattered like roaches. So I believe that what happened is that we have to really take a look at what transpired, what happened last year with the comments of the NFL and how it started it, and then You know, when Trump put 45, I mean when 45 basically putting like saying that I was going, I could take that son of a and
Yeah.
drag it out. And so the thing is, Queen, is that now people are tired of this. But now they try to Trump tried to do that the tweet about the NFL and said for those who you get caught, taking a knee and then they'll get suspended without pay. And he tried to be a bully on that, but sometimes you got to try to take a stand and say, listen, with all due respect, Mr. President, we got this. I mean, obviously we can handle this, and you you can run the country, but we can run our players and about the national anthem. We have this, but like I said before, it's like you have to basically try to intertwine of what is happening with the president and what's going on with the NFL.
Right. I mean, what about you, Tareen? Do you think that the reason why they're backing off of this whole thing is because the boycott was effective?
I truly believe so, but see, the thing is, they'll never admit to it. That's just like with John Schnatter saying that the reason his company was failing was because of the protests, when it was really because his pizza tastes like shit. So it's like they'll never admit to when they're wrong, because 45, this man's been wrong I don't know how many times, and he'll never admit that he was wrong. The man will never apologize. He still hasn't apologized for the Central Park 5, and that happened almost 30 years ago.
Yeah.
If he's not going to apologize for that, we know he's not going to apologize for something that will be considered low level like this ever, or anything else that he has, been wrong about, which is a lot.
Yeah, I agree. Maurice, do you think the protest last year is really the roadmap to why they're backing off now? Maurice, are you still there?
I think he muted his mic.
Okay. How about you, KD? Do you think that, because you know what they fear? Oh, go ahead, Maurice.
Oh, yeah. I just had to unmute my mic. Okay.
Did you hear what I was asking you?
Yeah, I think they are. I think, like I said, I think the whole Colin Kaepernick situation as affected not just the NFL, but the sponsors that promote the NFL. You know what I'm saying? It's like a domino effect. Once one thing starts, then like everything else falls right in line. You know what I'm saying? One domino falls down, then the rest of them fall right down behind it. You know what I'm saying? So what is going on? It's a domino effect, and that by the action that Colin Kaepernick has taken has really affected not just the NFL's business, but also the NFL sponsors business, such as Papa John's. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And other businesses that the NFL sponsors. The rest of the NFL sponsors. So yeah, I mean, shoot, that sponsors is probably not even going to promote the NFL anymore. I'm sure there's already several that have backed away from the NFL, and they're like, well, we can't take on the NFL as our sponsor anymore. We're gonna have to stop doing business with the NFL because of what's going on. It's like the businesses are basically saying we can't have this. You know what I'm saying? If you can't control these players, then there's no reason for us to do business with y'all. That's basically what businesses are saying. What the NFL sponsors are saying.
Right.
And King Maurice, I'm gonna add the biggest sponsor to that, and that is the NCAA. They better be very careful on how they treat this thing, because there's a lot of schools that's gonna end up being siding to be anti-NFL if they don't be careful with this old thing. If they start flip-flopping on this and they see this from the NCAA, the popularity of the NFL draft won't be as popular. Even viewership down in the NFL draft is down. So that's just another little sign that they better be careful of their pipeline. Their main pipeline, we all know, is the NCAA. If they flip-flop around this issue, I guarantee you the NCAA will rise up against the NFL and say the hell with it.
And another thing is that some of the college students in some of these colleges where they play college football are starting to considering on unionizing. So that's something to look out for too. That could be a factor.
And guess what, King Maurice? If they do that, that might be signaling the end of the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so the NFL, they're on a they're on a tightrope right now.
So to basically answer your question, Lisa, it just simply comes down to dollars and them protecting their money pits. That's all it is.
I think so too. I think that's the biggest reason why they backed off. They saw the impact on the revenue the year before, and they don't want to take a chance of losing all that money again. That's my opinion on the whole thing. Because everything about these people is completely motivated by money. That's the only thing that will get their attention. So I'm not surprised that they kind of backed off with this, oh no, everybody's got to stand. I was like, you don't even tell school children that. How are you going to tell a bunch of grown men that? It doesn't make any sense. I saw a few videos out there about this Tekashi 69.
Tekashi 69?
Yeah. It wasn't he recently robbed and pistol whipped and everything?
And I think I saw somewhere that he was kidnapped too.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it in the headlines. I didn't get into it because I'm not really into anybody.
I didn't get into it either. I mean, I've heard of him, but I don't care that much. I mean, it's a messed up thing, but I really don't care.
I don't either. I don't either, but I just saw, a few people put videos out about this, and I do remember one thing about him. Wasn't he talking a lot of shit about black folks?
He most likely was.
I
don't like follow him or anything like that. The guy looked like he got hit in the face with a bag of Skittles.
Yeah.
and it just bled all over his body.
Yeah, right. With that multicolored hair. Yeah, I just kind of saw that grabbing the headlines recently. Go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna go in on this troll. I think he's more of a troll rapper than anything. The only reason they're letting these type of rappers on because their main goal is to destroy the biggest piece of black entertainment, and we all know it's hip hop. It's been going on for even 20 plus years now. That's why they added in the whole Macklemore angle, and now they added in this whole troll rapper era. They just make it their one song and get up out of there. I mean, the whole agenda with these with the enemy is really to destroy the most powerful piece of music right now. We all know that's hip hop. Once they destroy that, it's pretty much a wrap for black music as a whole.
Yeah, I agree. You would never, even 10 years ago, you would never have seen somebody like him on the scene. Or if he did crop up, nobody would have taken him seriously at all. Yeah, I do agree with that. Okay. So, that was it. There's a couple of things out. Oh, no. One more. What do you think of those black people out in California running off those Oath Keepers?
Interesting.
Isn't it though? One thing about California black people, they are actually very different from most of the country. And I do agree with that. I find that many of the black people out in California are more of the rebel type. Like if you do something, they come out immediately.
Yes.
Answer it, just like you saw with Barbecue Becky. I think they come out a lot more quicker than black people in other parts of the country. They don't play there. And you can go back and look at the Watts riot and all of the riots they have there. No, that crowd in California don't play. They don't put up with nonsense for a long period of time.
Yeah, they radical up here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more of the rebel type in California. You step to them, they ready to step back to you. They gonna.
Well, I can remember my mother marching. I can remember going, being interrogated where I wasn't. She was, but I felt like I was. She was interrogated by the FBI. And I remember them telling us who the pigs was. They said they wear suits and ties. We already know what those was in those cars and stuff. But when my mother, because my father wasn't in the Panthers, people thought he was, but it was actually my mother. My mother was a quiet rebel, very quiet about it. But they jumped. Yeah, you were absolutely right, because they protest everything up here. Everything. They waiting for something to happen in California and stuff. But it is drastically different from Southern California to Northern California. But as far as when something go down, it's like folks are just waiting for it to go down. And then it also debunk back what we were saying earlier. It's not liberal up here. It's racist.
I
can believe
racist.
it. And I can almost believe that sometimes it might be that subtle racism, or is it overt?
It is. It is. But like when you work in the world of construction, it's very overt because you got nothing but a bunch of poor white trash. That's what I'm always call them that. Because one thing that I realized when I was working with them, that their social time was at work. Off of the job, they were different people. And a couple of things I realized, they didn't read. If you did catch them reading, they're looking for a car. Or something like that. But they didn't read. They didn't even read the sports section. They'll talk about sports, but just to sit at lunch and read, I didn't want to. I go sit in a corner someplace to read.
Yeah, I really think they were caught the hell off guard. They thought because they were going to come there to Maxine's office with all them guns and everything they had on them, they were just going to go out there and just cause all kinds of ruckus. But I don't think they anticipated all those black people being there.
Look at what happened during the Rodney King thing. I mean, I remember when I seen the verdict, and I was dating this guy at this time, and I looked at him. He was from Barbados, and I said, "They getting ready to tear up L.A." And he knew nothing about L.A. I said, "They getting ready to tear up L.A." I knew it. And they had a little bit of squabble up here, but I mean, they turned L.A. out. And then I went to L.A. 2 weeks after the riots. Everything was burnt down.
Yeah.
I had relatives that lived in the Watts and everything. And one of my dear cousins, he's passed on now. He said he just sat there. He said, "You seen black folks with couches, TVs," and he was just cheering them on.
I know.
It's like they're waiting to go off. I don't know what that thing is in California. But it's like they're waiting to go off. But one thing that was ironic was there was no incident during the Rodney King. It was a lot of stuff popping off in San Francisco. I was really astounded with that. It was quiet. It was just quiet.
But Lionsden, what do you think about the black crowds running off the Oath Keepers? I think that was actually kind of phenomena because they were not even all armed out there, but those white guys hightailed their asses the hell on out of there, didn't they?
Oh yes, they did, Queen. And to me, it's kind of funny. It's like when you have basically you notice that in California, that state right there, you don't want to mess with. You anywhere else maybe, but you come into the state of California, it's a totally different atmosphere because everybody will get some, and when they get some, there ain't nobody don't want to come out there and try to hide and and do what they do, but you know, it's really funny that I was kind of giggling myself. Like, it's really funny to see that, you know, black people are starting to come out together and they didn't have no weapons on them. They just coming out and just express how they feel, and white people are hightailed out of there.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
Yeah.
And
But
Lions Den.
True Royal, you brought up some good points. Another thing about the California black people, they organize fast. It's like something goes down and within hours they're organized and answering it, you know? And that's what I was always amazed about California.
Well, you know, they had an incident up here. They had refurbished the Oakland Coliseum, and they do what they usually do in the world of construction. They make sure that all the white guys get to work. Then they have their Mexicans come in, and then they leave a couple of little token jobs for black folks. Well, it didn't work out like that. The Nation of Islam showed up. So these white guys come to work 2 and 3 hours away like they always do. And when they showed up, the Nation of Islam was all over the job. I mean, everywhere. And those white guys was backing up and going home, calling the Union Hall, I'm not coming to Oakland, and everything like that. And it's ridiculous that you have to do all that just so a human being can work.
Right.
You're in a black neighborhood. Oakland Coliseum, you know, black and Mexicans are in that region, but you got folks coming 2 and 3 hours away.
Right.
It's very skilled black men. I know black men of every skill, even down to surveyor, iron workers, operator, engineers, you name it. I know all of them. And y'all talking about we ain't qualified? It's plenty qualified. But you got work coming all like that. That's ridiculous. It was right. It's in the hub of the Bay Area.
Using that excuse on us for decades, and we know damn well there's plenty of qualified black people to do any of those jobs.
Well, you know what? How I caught it, and I caught it in the last job I worked on. I worked on the Bay Bridge, and a white guy came, and he is a finisher. All they do is finish concrete. And he kept saying, I'm qualified. I'm qualified. And I finally realized, and I said, you mean to tell me? I said it right in his face. You mean to tell me they can't find nobody in the Bay Area and your white ass is here? That's how I said it right in it, because you can talk like that in construction. Qualified. I said, I know a bunch of damn finishers that's qualified. I said, fuck you. And I walked off. I'm qualified. So he coming in there with his head all big, like he's the only one in Oakland, California that's qualified to take mud and wood and smooth it over. Damn.
What were you going to say, Katie?
You know what? I mean, even for a short story, I am so sick and tired of this narrative of brothers not protecting sisters. Well, just look at the whole Oath Keeper situation. They sounded pretty protected to me. Nothing happened to them. Not one scratch on a woman and child. You know, this narrative is getting tiresome to me, and I'm sick of some of them using that term just to date out. It's just sickening to me. It's like, you know, the Oath Keepers showed up. I mean, and many of them didn't even have guns.
Yeah. And they were scared to get out on them black folks too. But you know what, like I said, you know, they are the original beta. If you want to call somebody a beta male, that's what those Oath Keepers are. They wanted to come out and harass an old lady like Maxine Waters. You know, they were willing to get out of their beds on a Saturday to do that. Like I said, I think that black crowd out there just threw them a loop. They didn't know what to do. You know, I really think that really threw them off, and that's why they hightail their asses out of there. What do you think, Maurice? Are you still muted?
Oh, pretty much like what everybody says. You know, even though everybody may not like Maxine Waters as a black politician who really doesn't speak up for us, it's interesting that our people will come out and defend you know, somebody who may not speak up for us. It's just the fact that is that if you come after one of us, you're gonna have to come through all of us, and that's the mentality that our people had right out there in California, and that's why the Oath Keepers were like you said, completely caught off guard. They really didn't expect Black people to come out to be a barrier in between them and Maxine Waters. They really didn't expect that.
No, I think because of the time of the morning this all occurred, they thought they were just going to be out there and nobody would be there. And I think a crowd of Black people would be waiting on their asses. They literally were waiting on those Oath Keepers.
Why do I keep thinking we don't get up early in the morning?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Now what will be interesting next month, and I will stress, as I will continue to stress this, is when those plaguing meth heads descend upon DC next month.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's close to me. I don't live in DC, but that's close to me.
What's going to be going on? What's going to be going on?
The White Civil Rights March is next month.
Oh, I missed that.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay.
That's what Tarina's talking about.
Yeah, it's basically like, basically Charlottesville Part 2.
Yes. I did a video on that. Not a video, but I did I did a little video on that where Jason Kessler, he actually had audio recorded. Jason Kessler was speaking, you know, about the white civil rights rally that they were supposed to be having next month, and you know, it was very funny when I was hearing them talking about how not only how white people are oppressed, but the fact that white people must be nonviolent in their approach, taking on the idea of Martin Luther King and Mahatma Gandhi and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? I was like, wow, this guy's actually appropriated MLK. This is so classic of them.
It sounds like it's their last stand to show their ass.
To me,
right.
I just kind of chuckle at it because have they ever had civil rights issues here in this country? I mean, seriously, have white people ever had civil rights issues in this country? Lions Den, do you recall anything like this happening?
Never. I never heard anything like that in my life. No.
I don't see why they're so oppressed. You go ahead.
It's all in their head, which is not filled with anything because they don't have a brain.
Tyranny is fear. They know their ass is grass. It's fair.
But it will if it is anything like Charlottesville last year, it will be rather entertaining to watch from a distance.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You know, they have very few protests that don't break out in violence.
Oh yeah. What was that? One of them
talk about the way Black people protest. I just ignore them. You know how we have seen countless protests with them swinging on each other out in the streets. They
get drunk.
Stand on.
They get drunk and don't let that baby hot, because they can't stand the heat. But it don't matter. When they get that, my father used to call it ignorant oil. Remember when they had one of them games and they started eating horse shit? They was drunk.
Yeah, that was over in the Philadelphia. Those folks over there are crazy. They're like a whole different.
And the thing is, it's funny you say that, Royal, because they don't even take that much heat to make them pass out. I remember, I went to because in my city, like in DC, because I work at a sports arena, and the hockey team won the Stanley Cup this year. So me and a couple of my coworkers went to the rally, and that was, of course, outside on the mall. And it was a nice day that day. It wasn't scorching hot. It was probably one of the nicest days of the summer. Mm-hmm. And they were dropping like flies in front of us. I was like, sheesh. I'm like, it's not even hot.
When I have seen them when we go up to Reno. It don't take no time to get up to Reno up here from California, and we go to the ski resort.
Hmm.
They burn in the snow.
Yeah. Yeah, I did a story on that.
I seen it with my own eyes. They burn in the snow.
They call it snow burn.
Yes.
I mean,
Snow burn.
and they even burn from the wind. If they're out in
Yes.
hard wind, their skin burns from the wind.
They sure do. And I've seen it because we would especially when my mother was living, we would go to the ski resort a lot. And I don't have any filter. I'm just laughing. They don't know why I'm laughing, but my family know.
Yeah,
I said, y'all gotta think I'm pretty.
everything makes them burn.
I said, it's
I mean, look, if it's above,
Let me put myself on mute so I can laugh.
if it's above 75 degrees, they probably will be out there passing out.
Oh yeah, because I know in California they had like that heat wave that was going through there where it was like 120 degrees. I was like, my goodness.
Yeah, they had one in Europe. I think it was like back in the 90s, and they were dying by the hundreds on a daily basis across Europe. And I think they went over 100 degrees for like 2-3 weeks. And a lot of them died. They could not handle it. You know, but see, this is not only revealing a lot about them, but it's also showing you why they chose us to be out there doing chattel slavery. There's no way, you know, they got sunscreen and they're passing out. There's no way during that time with no sunscreen, it would have killed them to go out there and do that work. They would have been dead. And we can now clearly see with their crops rotting today when the Mexicans don't show up because they're running. You know, they are not even bothering to save their crops. They're letting their crops just rot out there and go completely to waste. So if they are so capable and could build Egypt and all this other shit they be talking, how come they're not saving their crops? This is 2018. They should be out there saving their crops.
They can't even save themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and then on
go ahead.
Oh, and then on top of that, I was gonna bring this story up too, relating to these Caucasoids and how they bothered by this particular black councilman from Carrollton, Georgia, named Gerald Byrd.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he spoken out against racism on a Facebook post, and some of his Caucasoid constituents are, or some of his Caucasoid constituents are upset about that.
They don't know where all these uppity niggas came from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they're trying to get him to they're trying to start a petition to get him to resign. But Gerald Byrd is saying, I'm not going to resign. I'm going to do what the people want me to do, which is his melanated brothers and sisters want him to do.
Why should he resign? That doesn't make any sense. It's not like he's
all because of a Facebook post.
He's speaking the truth. I mean, we are with racism every single day. The problem is they want us speaking about it. And that's
right.
Really
and that's
that's really why they're so upset with us on YouTube.
Yes. Yep. And Gerald Byrd, he said he's not going to stop speaking about it until things change. And that's how it's supposed to be. It's all on these Caucasoids to make a change. You know what I'm saying? But if they don't want to do it, then we're going to keep speaking about it. We're going to keep airing out our grievances about it.
Oh, yeah. Well,
you can't just expect it just to be quiet.
I had infiltrated my live stream, I think like last month. And he came on to my chat area saying, why do you keep talking about white people? Why do you keep doing that? And I was like, first of all, this is my channel. I can talk about anything that I want. If I'm not violating policy, why are you worried about me talking about any subject matter, even if it's about white people? You know, I mean, but yeah, he had the nerve to come on my chat talking about, why are you talking about white people?
I get them same questions from trolls.
We get it all the time.
Well, that's what this was. It was a troll. I think he called himself American Eagle.
Oh no!
No, that one. I think it was American Eagle, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy!
Wow.
When they follow you, you to Black Junction, you really disturbing their sleep. Comedy to me.
Came in my comment section and just kept writing, "Oh, why do you keep talking about white people?" And then I had another one write me about a week ago. Why can't you stop doing those opioid stories? Why talk about something else?
Oh boy, they're really bothered by that, huh?
You know, the problem with them is they wear their emotions on their sleeve.
Here's the thing, though, Lisa.
Go ahead,
when we do them opioid stories, it's not like we're just doing them to do them. We're getting them from white-owned publications.
Right.
Meaning it's their own talking about them.
Go to the source. Go to the source. And then I think about them videos we use. With videos, then we will see it actually on news. Crack addicted babies.
Yeah.
And all of that. And pull yourself up by the bootstraps and wouldn't help nobody. And all of this. Now all of a sudden y'all want to open up places where y'all asses can get high. None of that gonna work. None of that gonna work. They don't want to work. Lisa was talking about how it's impacting the workforce. What they're really trying to say is they're willing for their asses to come to work high. That's dangerous. It's dangerous. You can mess up a lot. That ain't gonna work either. None of us gonna work. It's too late for them. It's been too late for them and stuff. And when we become aware of it, the shit been going on 10 or 20, 30 years. They've been messed up. They've been on a low birth rate. I've been putting it all together in my head. Y'all over.
I think it's been like that since I would say the Supreme Court ruling of Roe versus Wade contributed to their population numbers dwindling. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It just didn't take full effect until at least around the 1980s.
Oh yeah,
all these lies and delusions that they can put up.
Women use abortion like it's some kind of birth control anyway. I mean, I used to work with white women, and they would even tell me they had 2 and 3 abortions. They do it all the time. It was nothing for them to do that. In fact, one I worked with, one day her boyfriend came in, and you know what he said to me? He was coming to pick her up for lunch. And you know what he said to me? He said, I know one thing. I'm tired of paying for these goddamn abortions. He said he done paid about 6 abortions for her.
Well, what happened?
Oh my God.
They don't care. They seriously don't care.
Get
don't care. And see, and Queen True Royal, I bet you she knows this because, you know, the females talk a lot different around us than they do you men.
Yeah.
When they go to they'll finally get married. They'll have all them abortions. They'll finally get married and then try to have babies, and they have one. They can't have one at that point.
Yep.
Because you got to understand, and because you guys are men. Every time you get an abortion, they are literally scraping hard inside of your vaginal walls, and eventually that shit's gonna damage stuff. And by the time they're ready to have babies, they will not be able to have one.
That means you're not using no protection.
Yeah, I mean,
and they give it.
They are done. You gotta scrape that baby out of the womb,
and they giving it away for free.
Yeah,
you can go get this stuff for free. Y'all the one that set it up.
Yeah, I mean, but that's generally what happens, and then that's why so many of them. See, they're not fooling me. I know why they can't have babies. So that's why when so many of them get married, they're
Yeah,
like,
you've been thinking the same thing I've been thinking, Lisa,
they'll
for
be
years
like, I don't
now.
know why I can't have a baby.
Bitch, you've been getting abortions.
True Royal knows this.
Mhm.
We know that's because they've probably had several prior abortions. They're not going to tell their husband this. They're going to be gentle and distressed. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't have a baby.
Basically, her vaginal region has become a graveyard.
Yeah.
It was
having those abortions are no joke. That shit, there's no way, the way they get those babies out of the womb, there's no way it's not damaging you on the inside. There's no way it's not happening.
And then you don't need, it's like I knew this one. I'm gonna show you how they get out. Since we're talking in this area, I knew this one girl who got a urinary tract infection. They told her what she couldn't do for the next 6 weeks. She had sex anyway and went back. They don't follow the guidelines after that, so they'll get the abortion. I don't know how long they tell them to wait. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I guarantee you, she ain't waiting.
The reason why they have the abortion clinics, y'all, and somebody in the comment section kind of hit on it. Hassani, you're right. What they used to do back in the day before the abortion clinics were around, they would get wire hangers and literally pull the baby out piece by piece and literally tear the baby out of their vaginas. And these women, so many of them would hemorrhage to death. I'm sure True Royal knows this.
Yeah, I know.
They would hemorrhage to death. And it was happening to so many women with the wire hanger abortion.
Yeah, the back alley abortion.
Right. It was happening so much. That's why the abortion clinic came about, because so many of them were dying trying to use a wire hanger to get the babies out on their own. I know this stuff is sick. It's gruesome.
It's the truth.
But this is reality of what happened. Either these women would sit on toilets and do this shit themselves and end up hemorrhaging to death, or you had people doing it illegally, where you can go to a location illegally and they would get the wire hanger and do it for you.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, these women would actually literally bleed out to death.
Yeah, and they had to start getting that together because too many of them were dying. Too many white girls were dying.
Right, and it was mainly white girls. So, and that's the only reason why these abortion clinics exist today.
Yep, which contributes to the declining population numbers for the Caucasoid population. They're pretty much doing it to themselves. They're pretty much hurting
that's why I
themselves.
don't pay attention to that. You're right, Maurice. That's why I don't pay attention to that white genocide talk. It's not a genocide that they're going through. It's not a genocide at all.
It's self-inflicted.
Yeah, I mean, it's a natural decline. They're out of here. There is no future for racism, and they don't get this. Nobody is going to move into the next century with all this racism going. And racism is played out. Seriously is. Yeah. It's played out. Its existence had its moment in the sun. Now we are evolving. The Black community is actually evolving beyond that shit. You know, they are trying to hang on to what got them in power in the first place. And that's subjugating and oppressing, and it's just not working anymore. It's not working out for them anymore.
Their 6,000 reign, this 6,000 year reign.
Say that again.
It's over for them.
Say that again.
A lot of them know it. Yeah, this 6,000 year reign is pretty much over.
Yeah,
it is over. Don't say it's pretty much over. It is over.
It is over.
I keep telling everybody it's over. I don't want to give them no more time. It's over. And I'm looking at the precision of it being over.
Yeah.
They just hanging on by a thread.
And I've been really looking at the messages I've been getting personally about how this white woman been getting down and how she's being exposed for. She wants this to keep going, and then it doesn't exempt the white man because he's upholding her and she's not being up on that stand anymore. He's tired of her too. I'm telling you, I've been paying attention to Lisa's videos when she said she did 2 videos so far where the percentage, on a high percentage, over 50% of white women are locked up. So when I said, oh, let me think. Okay, he ain't getting your ass up out of jail. He's glad your ass is locked up. He gonna drop them kids off at grandma's house. He gonna pack his shit and leave. He ain't getting her out.
Yeah.
He's tired of her. And even my son was telling me just before he graduated from college, he said he went to some event and all these colleges came together, and some of these Ivy League white guys were saying they don't want white girls. He said they trying to trap them. They want to be a part of their families.
That's why they date the Asian women, because they said white women are manipulators.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that from white men.
Yep.
They said they are the master manipulators.
Mm-hmm.
And said they will keep pestering them and pestering them and pestering them until they get their way.
Yeah. Bitch and whine.
How they operate.
And they tired of it, and their mothers raised them that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then that's why so many look, what MGTOW, wasn't that started by white men?
Yeah, they're tired of them.
I believe it is. What isn't that Lion Den? Was it MGTOW started by white men?
Yes, definitely starts with them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't see that kind of stuff years ago. They were sick of Becky quiet about it.
Oh, it wasn't even thought of years ago.
Yeah, very true. But yeah, MGTOW came from them. But you know what? White men have been chasing down them Asian women for centuries. I mean, not for centuries, but for many decades. And I know that used to anger them a lot, because I used to work with white women, and they didn't like that mess. There was one guy in my office, and he was white, and his wife was Asian. Do you know they treated him like dirt? That man.
The people that live across the street. The people that live across the street to me, the white guy. When I first moved here, was married to an Asian. They eventually moved off, and then there's a lady that walks through the neighborhood. She's Asian, and she's married to a white man. She told me. You see a lot of it up here in the Bay Area.
But yeah, I mean, I never saw it to that level until I noticed it on the job. He ended up getting into so many altercations with the white women. He got fired.
I never knew.
There was a white female boss, and he was the only one in the office that had an Asian wife, and he just didn't get along with none of the white women. And I never saw it at that level, but it got so bad between him and the supervisor, which was a white female. They used to literally go in the office, close the door, and get into shouting matches. We would hear them all through the office. And eventually she called him in there and fired him. And one of the things I noticed when he left, they brought up the fact that he had an Asian wife. And I think that's what ticked them off the most. All them white women. That's what ticked them off the most. He had that Asian wife.
I always wondered about that, Lisa, because up here, they make it seem like it's okay.
Uh-huh.
And, they don't show it. So, yeah, it confirmed what I thought.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
White women are jealous of everybody.
Aren't they, though? Well, we're the number one women that they're jealous of. We've known that for years. And I had to laugh. One time I was reading through comments, and some white woman said, "Don't you dare compare us to black women." I said, I agree with that, because you ain't even half the women that we are.
I know that. I toast to that.
I co-sign that myself.
Have nothing. Yeah.
No. The problem.
I was saying these papebackers have nothing on us, on the black woman. Nothing.
Them is this woman has been propped up for way too long, and she's really the most inadequate woman out of all the groups. But she has been propped up for way too long that she, they make it seem like she can do no wrong, and it's bullshit. I mean, look, these women were your number one killer of children on the slave plantation. That's why they had to come up with all those black codes and everything to keep her damn ass out of jail even back then.
Yeah, and then they started
punishing her. She's always been a liability. When you really look through all throughout history, she's always been a major liability.
Yeah, because she plays that, like when she's with the white man, she acts real fragile. She's all weak and dainty, and they get tired of that shit. They get tired of that. Anything makes her, the sight of something just makes her just faint, bitch. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, and she's the damsel in distress all the time, and they have done that for for so long that this woman now thinks she is the ultimate woman on earth, and she's really the most inadequate woman on earth.
You seen the video I did, the lady in Berkeley, California? She harassing a black family, putting her hands on them, cussing them out, wouldn't leave them alone. Unquote, liberal Berkeley. And I gave y'all the shortest version of the story as I could because it was much longer than that. It was just a bunch of white people walking past, wasn't paying attention. So finally, a white couple called, and they knew her ass. She's known. And she got arrested, and they just can't stand when they get them cuffs put on them. I kept playing it over and over and over.
Yeah, I saw that. You know, that's why I'm saying she thinks she can do no wrong, just like walking up and putting her hands on and hitting on a black man and stuff. I mean, I'm just beside myself looking at that shit.
Look at the one where she was swinging at that 15-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And you know, they had the parents on there and stuff. And the only thing that I didn't like about it was how docile they had their son acting.
Yeah.
And it's like he's not even being true to his nature. You know, that wouldn't have been my son. No. My son would have knocked her a new one. We just got him out of jail. I'm serious. No, I told my sons, if somebody hits you, you hit them back.
That's right.
Fuck all of that.
But I don't play that mess, and I don't care. You know, and you know, especially if it's unprovoked, like it was in that case. You know, it's not like
that woman kept hitting that boy. And do y'all know that he did not immediately show that to his parents because there was some other stuff going on in his family. But then when they finally arrested her ass, she attacked the police, lost her job too. It was so sweet. Oh, that was so sweet. So this summer for white folks is epic. I'm loving this because I ain't gonna get on code. I know it.
You know, Trump got them all out here acting crazy, you know, and they think that everything they're doing, you know, nothing is going to happen to them. But we're seeing that is to the contrary. They are losing their jobs left and right. People are going on social media and putting their names and addresses out there, just like ID Adam that was questioning the black woman at the pool. They posted that man.
And you know what? A lot of times
protesting him outside of his damn house. He went into hiding.
This barbecue Becky situation up here, white people had sent me the information of her address. And stuff. And you got white people begging their own people to stop. They're not going to stop.
No, they're not.
They don't know how to get on code on this.
No, they don't. But you know, I'm loving it because they are really tainting tainting the reputation of their people globally, and I'm loving that. I'm loving the backlash they're getting. They're doing this because they were hoping that the backlash would come on the black person, but it's not happening that way. They are the ones facing the backlash.
That's true.
And I'm loving it. And that's the one thing I don't want to change.
No, they're not going to stop on that. I'm very confident in that because it is ingrained in them that when they step outside, that they have to police us.
Yes.
And I always talk about the nature of many things. So that is
see, that's why they have to police us. Royal, that's the big reason why they keep coming to black YouTube channels. They think they got the right to monitor us and try to control. And see, when they kick you off, what they're doing is they're trying to control you, and it's just simply not working.
Mm-mm.
Even if I said, okay, well, they threw me off, I'm just going to go on about my business. There's like 20, 30 other YouTubers putting videos out.
Sharing content. Yeah.
You're not really slowing anybody down. And that's what they don't get. But they think they got the right to, like you said, police and monitor us and see what we're saying, see what we're talking about. And no, that's not their right, but they seem to believe this.
Yeah, and the only thing that we need to do is how we respond.
Mm-hmm.
How we got to get better on how we respond. Now, I seen a brother last night on Black Junction. The cops came up to him and they asked him his name. He didn't say a word.
No, you
The
don't
only,
give them your
the
own.
only time he talked to them is he asked their badge numbers and their names, and they wrote it out and gave it to him.
No, you don't divulge. And I think that takes a lot of balls to walk up to somebody and say, what's your address? Who the fuck are you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, who the fuck are you? Or just like that old lady on the bus, sit on that black woman's lap and then
I couldn't believe it.
And said, where are you going? Where are you going? Who the fuck? I ain't telling you where I go or my address or anything else. No, you don't give these demons your information like that.
And that old woman would have ended up on the ground.
She would have had hip replacement because I would have knocked her ass down so hard. They would have had to get a gurney to get her off of that bus.
Wow.
You know, they got a lot of nerve. But I mean, seriously, why would you divulge your information to first of all, they're coming up to you and you already know they got an evil intent. So if you're telling me I'm going to call the cops on you, why would I stand there and give you my address? Or give you my address so you can come and harass me where I live? Because you know they would do that. They will stoop that low.
Mm-hmm. They'll go as far as they can go, based on how you respond, and that it is our duty and responsibility to teach our royals, because we're not going to be with them every damn day, how to deal with this stuff. And don't go over it once with your children. We talk about it often in our household. Even when my father was alive, we would always sit around and talk about how to deal with the enemy when we're out and about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And especially my father was really good at how to deal with the enemy at work. And it really helped me when I was at work, because I had to deal with a lot at work. Right. So I became a problem child at work. They just would put me by myself. I would have a ball working by myself. They thought that was hurting my feelings working by myself. I don't like working with them people.
Well, yeah, see, we got to stop acting like them calling the police and we got to stand there like we're a slave that just got caught by the slave catcher. You don't have to stand there. There's no law that was broken, you know, and if more of us walk away from those situations, you take the power away from them.
Yeah, because I seen a situation where this old man comes up to folks at the pool and questioning this and questioning that. And, oh, sir. And I was like, oh, man, y'all messing up.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah, we got to get pre-rehearsed on what we need to do. We can't just be watching these videos.
As soon as they say, I'm calling the police, you pick up your phone and say, I'm calling the police too. And that's all you got to do. Mm-hmm. You don't have to stand there and take that crap off of them. And that's why I'm telling everybody, go to your county court website and print out the civil division. They got all those forms so you can sue them in court. Get a form and keep it handy.
You know what? Somebody in here asked, do I have a video about how to deal with them at work? I think that's something that we need to put together jointly with a few of us. I don't think it should just be one of us. We need a male and female perspective on how to deal with the enemy at work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. But no, don't you ever give these people your address and where you're going and what you're doing. No, they don't have the right to walk up and do that kind of stuff.
And then on top of that, you don't even have to divulge any information to the police. You know, especially if you have not
crime was committed
a crime.
Yeah, if nothing happened.
That's right.
Parked outside listening to a CD. That's not a crime. I don't have to give you no information.
Yeah, a cop pulled my oldest son over. I'm here in the Bay Area, and the first thing he asked my son is, "Do you got some weed on you?" That's the first thing he asked. And my son said, "I don't even drink, sir."
Yeah, no.
And what made him switch up on him was he had his he had his badge from college, but he had it on a I guess he would wear it around his neck. "Oh, I see you go to college." And my son just sat there and just not said nothing.
Yeah, well, I worked with a girl and she was racist. And her father was a white cop. And you know what she said to me one day? She said, "Well, my father is a cop. And if he sees black people in our neighborhood, he'll stop them and ask them where they're going." I said, "Well, your father is breaking that person's constitutional right. Mm-hmm. He has no right to stop somebody just because he feel they don't belong there and say, 'Where are you going?'" I wish a cop would pull my ass over talking about "Where are you going?" I wish you would try it.
Mm-hmm.
But see, they're used to treating us like that and not getting any pushback. But as a cop, he really was out of line for doing that. But they felt they were in their right because, this is the good area. What is this nigger doing here? No.
Mm-mm.
But he did that all the time. She told me her father did that all the time.
Wow.
The black people that were just driving through.
It's just like that incident that happened. I did a story with that, I think about a couple of months ago, where a sister lives at one of the most nicest apartments, a gated community. And one of the owners of the apartment tried to stop her and ask her, "Did you ever live there? What are you doing here?" And the sister was saying that "I live here. And I got the security key to prove it."
Was that the one where he parked in front of there and he couldn't get in?
Yes, that's
that was that was a doctor.
Exactly.
Yeah, she was a doctor. I remember that.
Yeah, and so the thing, and it turns out that he really wasn't even living there. He was just one of the owners of these apartment buildings that he was on. He really wasn't even basically not even. But he just basically showing that the racism of his basically proving that he was a racist. That's showing that sisters don't live in this type of neighborhood, this type of community. It's just it's really ridiculous.
Yeah. Somebody one day when I was working, a white woman had asked me, because I was heading out early that day. I didn't work a full day. And she was like, "Oh, where are you going?" And you know what I just said to her? I said, "My own mother doesn't even ask me that question. You think I'm going to answer because you're asking me?"
You got that bad?
But they have the balls to believe that they have the right to ask us, black folks, that question. And they don't. They don't. We're grown people. We don't have to divulge what we're doing and where we're going to these folks.
This is where we need to have our children look it up, so they'll know, not just to present it to them, have them to do it as an assignment. And then I also encourage for them to learn employees law too, when you're employed, so they'll understand the basic laws on that too as well. That's what I did with my children, so they could at least have an overview, understanding it, because they real quick jump up and talk about they know their rights and everything. And a lot of time we don't know. And see, the police, they will take full advantage of your lack of knowledge.
Yeah. That is very true. But y'all, thank you so much. I'm going to get off of the panel because I want to get another one of my organic teas and sip that down before I actually go to sleep.
Yeah, you sound great.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We're definitely going to do another hangout. I'll probably set another one up, maybe like the middle of the week. And
Okay. I have some stuff I'm gonna send you to look over that my son put together for us as far as on the other channel.
okay,
Um,
okay,
yeah, and we want to get your approval. If not, we'll revamp it and start back over because we got to have a wallpaper and avatar. But he said he would help out,
okay.
so he
That's
just got some stuff he's doing for us.
yeah.
All right.
All right, yeah. Well, everybody have a wonderful night. And until the next hangout, shalom, everybody. All right.